Like to call this meeting back to order. Can I get a roll call, please?
Mrs. Fritz.
Here.
Mrs. Galnick.
Here.
Mr. Gibbons.
Here.
Ms. Gore.
Here.
Mrs. Henry.
Here.
Mr. Hutchinson.
Here.
Mrs. Johnson.
Here.
Mr. O'Donnell.
Here. Star students, Mr. Bilodeau?
Good evening, Mrs. O'Donnell, members of the board, members of the public, and an awful lot of students. Welcome to Charles W. Lewis Middle School. We are pleased to have a little bit of an add-on here tonight. We have some students from October that had to wait a little bit longer to be recognized, and the board and administration felt they should be recognized. So I know that Mr. Tro, the assistant superintendent, facilitates this program. So Mr. Tro, could you please begin and recognize our students?
Gladly.
Please.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our board meeting. We have a large group, as you can see, as we've combined our October students, as Mr. Bilodeau said, as well as with our November students from two of our schools. So we're going to go ahead. I will speak as little as possible, but this is an exciting time for us as we get to recognize so many of the great things that are going on in the district. Oftentimes, the only thing that gets attention is when something goes wrong or there's a problem, and too often we ignore and don't properly recognize all the great things that happen. So tonight's an opportunity for us to do that, to honor your students and the great work that our staff and administration do with them. So without any further ado, I'm going to call up our administrative team from Union Valley Elementary School, and they'll recognize our students from Union Valley, and then we'll move on to the others from there.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Good evening, Board of Ed. Thank you for the opportunity to recognize our shining stars tonight. I'd like to congratulate all of the boys and girls who are being recognized. I'm very excited to hear why you're being recognized, and we're excited to present our shining stars. At this time, I'd also like to introduce my assistant principal, Mrs. Kim Curry, and invite two of our teachers, Mrs. Malloy and Miss Martin, to come and join us. Union Valley has 5 shining stars tonight. Girls, when you hear your name, please come and join us. I'd like to introduce Perenna Adebatwe, Brooklyn Kogan, Tegan Kernew, Natalie Kendrick, and Emery Sullivan. Does not look like Emery is here. These girls all have qualities that reflect our school's character traits and the PAWS mission. PAWS stands for practicing respect, acting responsibly, working together, and staying safe. They practice respect by always listening to their teachers and other students. They act responsibly by having a positive work ethic. The girls have shown that they work together and stay safe by cleaning the lunchroom to prepare it for the next lunch.
The girls are always happy, kind to others, and putting their best effort into everything they do. Earlier this year, Mrs. Elwell and I first noticed Perenna and Brooklyn giving up their recess time to help the kindergarten students during their lunch period. They would help open their milk and food containers, assist them in finding the bathrooms, and then after the students left the cafeteria, they voluntarily got washcloths and proceeded to help the staff wipe down the benches and tables. As the weeks went on, we began to notice other 5th graders assisting in the cafeteria as well. Emery, Natalie, and Tegan would also help wipe down the tables, assist with bringing the lunch trays over to the wash area, and use the big broom to help sweep under the tables and the floor. These girls took the initiative to help on their own, knowing it is a busy time in between the lunches, trying to get it clean for the next group of students. And they are setting the best example of the character traits we look for in our older students. These younger students definitely look up to them. They are certainly worthy of being recognized for doing good without being asked to. They're exemplary role models for our school, and we feel they should be recognized for their outstanding character.
And we're glad that Emery, you're here with us. So we'd like to introduce Emery Sullivan to you, ladies and gentlemen. Congratulations to all of our shining stars. And boys and girls, don't leave because at the end, we're going to have pictures and cookies and water. So just have a seat for a few minutes. At this time, I would like to introduce Mr. Ferguson from Lilly Elementary School to present his shining stars.
Crazy.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. I would like to take a moment to thank the Gloucester Township Board of Education for providing us with this opportunity to recognize the wonderful programs that we have in our schools and a positive impact it has on our students. Tonight, I will be showcasing Lilly School's Earth Club and honoring 4 students that participate in it. The Earth Club is led by our wonderful Lilly counselor, Miss Hollywood, who's standing next to me. And I'm going to call those students up if they are here. Do we have Jasmine Rome? Do we have Dominic DiGirolamo? Come on up. Jackson Cook, come on up. And Anissa Osuna Romero, come on up. Some of the activities the students participate in include monitoring and recording the data of bluebirds and processing and planting milkweed seeds to help support monarch butterflies. So yes, at Lilly School, they have a birdhouse that they keep up with. And each year they help actually tag the birds and kind of record their movement and actually take care of them as well. The club students were also trained by staff from the Cedar Run Wildlife Refuge on what to do if they find injured or sick animals. All 4 Shining Star students were all curious, hands-on learners throughout the club, which included handling live baby birds. Jackson has a good deal of background knowledge about some of the content the guest speakers were presenting about, so he was a great participant and added to the discussion. Anissa and Dominic were not afraid to step right in and handle microscopes, magnifying glasses, and the various specimens, which included bird wings and animal pellets, stuff I wouldn't handle, but they definitely handled it. Jasmine took a lead role in trimming and preparing the milkweed seeds for the sprouting project. And again, those milkweed seeds help to sprout the monarch butterflies. These students not only go above and beyond to help preserve our planet, but they also are responsible Lilly School citizens who do not hesitate to lend a helping hand when needed. At this time, let's please give a big round of applause for Lilly School's Shining Star students. And again, we have Jackson Cook. Wave your hand, Jackson. Dominic DiGirolamo. And Anissa Osuna Romero. Next, I'm going to call up Mr. Ted Otten from Lewis School.
Okay. Thanks, Ed. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Charles Lewis Middle School. I am Ted Otten, the principal. I am joined today with our librarian, who is Ms. Cheryl Vasallo. Thank you, Ms. Vasallo, for nominating our star students tonight for your library helpers, I believe, right? Yes. Oh, I forgot. Thank you to the board for this opportunity. This is always one of the best nights we get to celebrate the kids. So with that, I'm going to turn this over to Ms. Vasallo.
Thank you. Like Mr. Otten said, I'm Cheryl Vasallo. I'm the school librarian here at CW Lewis. Tonight we are honoring an awesome group of students who embody the spirit of our school and the heart of our library, our CWL library leaders. So Ken Logan Dixon, Erilyn Lorenzo, Gabrielle Sardino, Belle Hennessy, Kata James, Jace Horner, Noah Purcell, Jordan Lash, Alicia Griffin Chansey, Jefferson Pierre, Andre Quinoa, Zoe Colleen, Ava Chambers, Kiera Black, Mehak Batul, Nyla Johnson, Addison Plumley, Ivy Wheel, Lily Numa, and Naliana Marshall. These aren't just students giving up their free time at lunch. They are the essential force that keeps the CWL Lewis Library running smoothly. They help with shelving, making sure that when you search for a book, it actually is where it belongs. When the book fair arrives, they are excited to set it up and sad to break it down. As library leaders, they learn responsibility, attention to detail, and are key contributors to our school community. Thank you to our fantastic library leaders for your dedication, your hard work, and for being the backbone of our library. I am a better librarian because of you guys. Thank you. Go back to your seats and then don't leave.
Don't leave. Yes, don't leave. We're going to take a picture at the end. And at this time, I'm going to introduce Mr. Alex Ferrante. No, we're not doing that. Oh, never mind. Sorry, Mr. Ferrante.
Calling an audible on that one. Come back next month if you want to see Mr. Ferrante. So those are our 3 schools that we're recognizing tonight. Again, it's always a great honor to recognize the students and staff that do such a great job here in Gloucester Township Public Schools. And we really appreciate the support that the families provide for your children and for our school district. And so at this point, we are going to take a short recess. We've got certificates that were given to your principals that they will both hand to you before you leave, as well from the Board of Education to commemorate your evening and your honor tonight. And then we also will be taking some pictures here, and then the regular business portion of the meeting. You're welcome to stay for that. If you're unable to stay, I know a lot of times with younger children, you need to get them home, whether it's to finish homework and get them freshened up for tomorrow. They got another day in school tomorrow. And so with this, we'll take a short recess. If you can make sure that you make your way over there for photos, grab some cookies and water if you can, and have a great evening. Thank you.
Mr. Trout, we're going to reconvene at 7:30, so about 15 minutes.
7:30 is the time.
To bring the meeting back to order. Could I get a motion for the regular meeting board minutes for September 22nd?
So moved.
Second. Thank you, Mrs. Gore with the motion. Thank you, Mrs. Johnson with the second. Any questions?
We're going to amend the minutes. I think it's under old business.
It was under old business.
Old business, the wording should say she voted, and this is for Mrs. O'Donnell from July. She voted yes, but would like the record to reflect that she should have abstained.
Thank you. Can I get a roll call, please?
Mrs. Fritz,
Yes.
Mrs. Galnick,
Yes.
Mr. Gibbons.
Yes, as amended.
Ms. Gore,
Yes, as amended.
Mrs. Henry,
Yes, as amended.
Mrs. Hutchinson,
Yes, as amended.
Mrs. Johnson,
Yes, as amended.
Ms. O'Donnell.
Yes. Mr. Bilodeau, any changes to the agenda before we do public comment?
Mrs. O'Donnell, I would ask the board's indulgence to add one item to the personnel section of the agenda, currently 7.6A on the November agenda for instructional appointments, list none. And due to timing things, the board would add in to 7.6A Kenneth Williams. Mr. Williams will be a guidance counselor at Charles W. Lewis Middle School. He will be step 1 masters at a prorated salary of $66,548 per annum. It will be effective December 1st or upon completion of paperwork. And he will be replacing Mindy Basiglia, who is being transferred this evening to Glen Landing Middle School. There was an opening.
Okay, is that it?
That is it.
Awesome.
Mr.
Oh, because we're doing it, because we're.
Oh, we're gonna do it. Okay, well, there is another thing, yes. So under 8.3, which is the bill list, which is on the business administrator section, we are going to add to the list of bills for the month of November for the board's consideration. This is from a prior meeting, a payment that was not rendered due to, wasn't approved. So check number 138393, the vendor is Brett DeNovi. The amount of the check was $53,793.88. Again, that would be added to 8.3, the bill payment section for November. A check number is 138393. Brett
What was
DeNovi.
the amount, please?
$53,793.88, Mrs. Johnson.
Thank you.
And that is all the requested changes, Mrs. O'Donnell.
Thank you. We're going to move on to public comments. If someone has anything for agenda items only, raise your hand. I will then call you up to the microphone. If you don't use the microphone, the recording can't hear you. And when you watch it back, we just can't hear you. So anyone for agenda items only? Comments? Seeing none, we will move on. Mr. Bilodeau?
Yes, under 5.0, which is the ratification of October 25 resolutions, Mrs. O'Donnell, I would ask for a consent resolution from the Board of Education approving 5.1A through 5.6A.
Yeah, you just motion second. Yep. Roll call.
Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Johnson.
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Gore. Any questions? Roll call, please.
Mrs. Fritz,
Yes.
Mrs. Galnick,
Yes.
Mr. Gibbons,
Yes.
Ms. Gore,
Yes.
Mrs. Hendry,
Yes.
Mr. Hutchins,
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. O'Donnell.
I am going to abstain on 5.4C, number 2273, and 5.4F as in Frank, 2963, and yes on the balance.
Noted.
Report of the superintendent?
Committee reports.
Oh. You know.
She did put in her 2 weeks notice.
1 month notice. The committee reports, curriculum committee? Mrs. Galnick?
All members,
Thank
Right.
you.
all members were in attendance at the curriculum committee, and I apologize, I lost my notes that I had down. Did we go to the next person? Because I need to find my notes, I'm sorry.
Let's do the professionals committee, please. Mrs. Hendry?
Yes, the committee met on October 15th. All members were in attendance except for Ms. O'Donnell. She had a conflict, correct? We had the opportunity to interview 2 architects, Spiegel and Land. It was a great experience.
Great, thank you. Unfortunately, Mrs. Galnick, you have 2 committee reports.
I know,
I'm so
I
sorry.
apologize, that's all right, I had them somewhere, I'm a little messed up tonight, so sorry.
Okay.
So anyway, the curriculum committee, we talked about the did we talk about, do you remember, Nick? I can't. My notes on there. I know I wrote it down.
The administrator can do it.
We talked about the different English as a second language program and the grants that go along with that. And I think that's it.
Okay.
And Beth Morgan, she talked about Title I, so thank you. Also, the Special Services Committee, we had the meeting there. That committee, we talked about the different programs that are happening with special ed. There's a lot of things going on with special ed. We talked about the way that the teachers have to move around in the different buildings and the space constraints and such. And it's amazing what that special services team does to make sure everything is like they keep everything together, and there's so much going on there. It was really very overwhelming, that report that was given about the special services. All the committee members were there except one committee member had a work event and could not attend. But it was very, very informative of what's going on with special services. So,
Great, thank
thank you.
Yep. I just want to remind everyone that we have a policy that committees need to meet twice a year. If you are the chairperson of a committee that has not yet met twice a year or once a year, please try to get that scheduled. And I do hope that when those emails go out, that all of the committee members are quick in responding. Scheduling is a whole nightmare sometimes. So the quick responses with your availability would be appreciated. Report of the superintendent, Mr. Bilodeau? Yes.
I do have a report.
Oh, you do on?
Transportation.
Oh, can you turn on the microphone?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize transportation met.
Oh, yes.
Oh, hey now, thank you.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. Little update on our transportation department. We currently have 73 drivers and 76 routes. Not all drivers do work a full shift. In order to cover the work, we double up on routes or double back out for stops as needed. A few reasons why drivers may resign or are terminated at times. They need more hours per day, medical reasons, possibly more money offered by competing districts, or retirement, or possibly they did not pass a random drug test. We are constantly always actively interviewing and hiring. Training for bus drivers and bus aides, state requirements are 18 trainings per year. In reference to communications with parents and guardians, text messages are sent out to school administration and parents and guardians to alert them of any late buses to and from school, as well as substituted drivers, which may cause a delay. And that is all. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I didn't realize the transportation department met. I appreciate that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Mr. Bilodeau? Report of the superintendent?
Thank you, Mrs. O'Donnell. As we have done for a number of years, we have Mr. Tro make a presentation to the board regarding how the students in the district fared on the previous spring state assessment. So Mr. Tro is preparing himself to present.
I'm back.
All yours. Yes.
Back and better than.
I
what-
did pass these out to the board members, just so the board members are aware this is what he's going to go over.
So thank you. Always an exciting time to come and present these. I know the audience is excited. I see a big crowd came out tonight. And I've prepared a half hour to 45-minute presentation. Will that suffice? No, I will try to move very quickly. I know I'm always like, how long are you going to be? And so it's a lot of pressure when you come up and you're asked to move quickly. So I will fight my inner urges and talk quickly and succinctly. So you can see there's a number of district initiatives. We are busy. We had ELA committee our ELA supervisor met with the curriculum committee tonight and went over all of the initiatives. And I know math, we have a number of things going on. Those are the two biggest tested areas. Science is also a big one, and it's been a big year for that. The board, thank you, approved. We spent approximately $2 million renovating classrooms and buying new curricular materials for middle school last year. So really proud. I think if you look at our live feed, you can see a few of the pictures that we put out just to kind of show what the facilities look like for our middle school students. So we're excited about that and hoping that those changes translate when it comes testing time. But so a number of things going on. Proud of the hard work that all of our teachers and administrators do in preparing our students each year for the test. Last year was the 9th and final of the current next generation. And so we are now moving into the next generation, which was what we were field testing last week. But students in grades 3 through 8 last year took language arts, literacy, and math. In grades 5 and 8, once at the end of elementary school and the end of middle school, do they take the NJSLA science assessments. So again, every year, try to look to gain some perspective with the data. It's always a little bit overwhelming to like, what do you do with it? And what does this mean? And so what we're kind of looking at is how are students doing compared to the standard? That's how individual students and then aggregate scores are from proficiency. We look at progress. How are we doing over time? How are our students doing over time? And then we try to compare ourselves to others where we can to try to get a perspective of, how do we measure up? There are 5 performance levels for ELA and math, one being the lowest, not yet meeting grade level expectations, and then it goes up through to exceeding. Level 4 and up are considered passing or being grade level proficient in ELA and math. So here we've got just a bar graph to show the individual buildings across the district. This is grades 3 ELA. And the yellow is the state average, and then the maroon or dark red is the district average. So you can see our district average was a bit below state. We had a couple of buildings that were able to beat the state average, but overall we were below state average in ELA in grades 3, grade 4, again, similar. I'm going to go quickly through. If you want to look, we will post these on the website tomorrow for the public. If you weren't able to get a copy tonight, I know they were on the, but we may have run out on the, over there as you entered and signed in. Grade 5, again, similar. 2 of our 8 buildings were above the state average. District, we were a little bit. We'll look at a little bit more detail on that as we move along. Grade 6, again, similar. We had a nice improvement in grade 6, but still below state average. Grade 7, similar. Again, nice growth, but below state average. And then grade 8 was probably where we became the closest to being on state average. So kind of showing a bit of that nice growth over the course of middle school in particular. But of course, also over their 8 years in Gloucester Township. Math, somewhat similar, although when you look at grade 3, we kind of have a little bit of, one of the trends that we're addressing is the fact that when you look at grade 3, we're pretty close to the state average, doing a really great job. And then you can see that we stay, but the state average grows a little bit while our averages fall a little bit further behind that. While we do have a number of schools that are able to beat that state average in the elementary school. Then we get to middle school, dip a little bit further behind in grade 6, 7, and 8. Algebra is always a little tricky one to report out on because this includes 9th grade students. So that always kind of throws some of those numbers off a little bit. And of course, our students that are taking it are our accelerated students. And you can see we outpaced the state average significantly with, I guess, almost 85% of our students passing. My special note here, last year, one of the nice things was the state. We had a gentleman from the state, I forget his name, contact us and wanted to come down and observe at Mullins School because of the achievement that our students were having in algebra at Mullins School, and was curious to see, what was taking place there. So that was, a really nice honor, and again, a representative of the great work that they're doing with our algebra students. So here each year I try to show a little bit of trends over time, and basically the short bit with this is showing that we have had steady growth all the way through. Pandemic came, significant drop, and we've been trying to grow our way back from there, and we've been able to do that bit by bit. One of the things I changed this year that you can see, you're not going to be able to see it from the screen up here. I tried to look at 3-year change, so post-pandemic. Sometimes year to year, you can kind of have a little bit of upward, and might be a slow growth one year and a larger growth the next. And if you look at the state averages in 3 to 5, there was over the 3 years, the state improved a little over 3%. We went about 2%. So we were just slightly below the state average in the growth that we had in elementary school over the 3 years. One of the things you'll see that's nice is in the middle school, even though, let me clarify, this is ELA, so you can see that piece. So we had growth as a district, a little bit of growth each year over the last 3 years, but a little bit trailing state average. Whereas in middle school, ELA, we did have a growth that was a little bit above the state average. The state improved about 6% growth, and we improved a little over 8%. So, nice progress there, both in elementary and middle, but a little bit more in middle, and we're able to beat those state growth. Math, again, moving in the right direction, almost the opposite of ELA, and the fact that our elementary math scores improved as compared to the state a little bit more than middle school, where we had almost 9% improvement in elementary math proficiency rates, whereas the state had a little over 6%. So again, you see that precipitous drop after COVID, and we've been able to build back, not build back better yet, but build back a little bit. In grades 6 to 8, again, same thing, a little bit. We showed growth over the last 3 years, but not as much as the state. We were at about 3%. The state was at about 5% growth. Subgroup, these would be all of our between gender, ethnicity, race, economic disadvantage, students with disability. In ELA, you can see that we have disparities between certain groups. In ELA, you have the females do quite a bit better than males on average. And then when you start looking at subgroups, you've got our Asian and white subgroup significantly outperform the Hispanic, Black, and multiple race subgroups. But one of the things that you can see is over 3 years, the nice part is, as far as closing a gap, all of our subgroups, with the interesting exception of our best performing subgroup, the Asian subgroup, we had growth in all of those, and the larger growth was in the lower achieving subgroups. So our Hispanic and Black subgroup both went up over 5, Hispanic subgroup almost 7%. So while there was growth across the board, we had more significant growth in those lower achieving subgroups, and that is a good thing, and the fact that all of our groups are improving, and we're seeing some of those achievement gaps close. And again, the same thing is true in math, not quite as dramatic in that difference between the subgroups, but we see that there was growth across the board, and our 3-year change was significant in the fact that, again, almost an 8% improvement in each of the subgroups on average across the district. One of the things I do, there's just a lot of dots that you'll see here, but one of the things we try to do to gain comparison, this is actually data that's 2 years old. This data hasn't been released yet, or at least released for public consumption yet. So this is 2024, but one of the things to try to do when this data comes out is just compare ourselves to neighboring districts. So this is a look at K to 8 districts across the county, and that line is kind of a trend line, a line of best fit. When you compare free and reduced lunch status, which we know is one of the most prevailing indicators of how students might achieve, comparing, so not all districts have the same starting point when it comes to that. And this is a way to try to look and see how we compare. You can see ELA, proud of the growth that we're doing, but we are a little bit below that line in an area of growth needed for us. Whereas in math, we're right on that line, kind of right on that line of best fit, showing that when you factor in free and reduced lunch rates, we compare our achievement rates are very comparable to neighboring districts across the county. Science. Science is a challenge. You can see the state average is not good, and our average has been quite a bit below that. So for 5th grade science, the state average is 30% pass rate. We're at 18. We had a couple that were close to that. And in eighth grade, the state average was 19%, and we were at 12%. So we have put quite a bit of effort into that. We're hopeful that we'll see some growth in this over the years to come with some of the efforts that we're putting in, both administratively, with board support, and the hard work that our teachers and students are doing implementing our new Amplify curriculum. And science, again, similar. You can see growth. It was slow, but pretty steady across the board of around a 2% increase from each of the subgroups over the course of the last 3 years, whereas the state average was almost a 4% increase. So we've got some work to do there, and we're working hard to do that. One of the things we're supposed to report out on are participation rates. That's been almost a non-issue for us. When you start looking at over 4,000 students taking the test, and we had 12 students that did not participate, which was down from 18 the previous year. So key reports we use, the state releases evidence statement reports. We use these each year for our teachers. Will look over this as well as the administrative team to identify any areas where we see in particular subset of skills that are tested and how our students are, where some of our relative weaknesses are that we can address and either find out whether or not that's a programmatic issue or whether or not that's a specific issue of how the curriculum is being delivered and whether or not there are adjustments that need to be made. One of the other areas that we need to report out on are dynamic learning maps. I won't go into too much detail, but these are essentially for special needs students who have fairly significant learning disabilities, and they have individual goals that are set for them, and they're assessed by their teachers who are trained to meet those targets. So it's usually less than 5% of your students, and that's true for us. We had 37 ELA students, 38 math students, and 9 science students that took their assessment via the dynamic learning maps. And they are scored on emerging, approaching their target, at target, advanced. And of course, at target or advanced would be their passing score. And you can see that we had 35% in ELA, 39.5% in math, and 22.2% in science, which varied very similarly to the year before, or slightly above or slightly below. Our action plan for this year, we're continuing. We've had a lot of activities planned that we've been working through with our staff and our students, and we are continuing many of those, whether it's training in ELA, letters training in the elementary school, as well as curricular adoptions in specific areas, and identifying those areas of weakness with things from the evidence statement reports. Middle school intervention has been an area of focus where we've made some adjustments to how we've delivered that. We're trying to make sure that we consistently implement our highly rated curriculum that is aligned very well to standards. And of course, I mentioned some of the science changes that we've done a little bit earlier. We have some new ELA curriculum materials going on in the elementary school this year. We've got K2 are implementing new programs, as well as 2 to 5. We've got ELA literacy materials with the 95% group that all of our teachers are implementing. So lots of things going on, and we're hopeful and confident that those will translate into improved scores. Parents are also, when the scores are sent to them, are provided some resources that they can use. The state has a parent portal where they can look at their students' scores over the course of years, as well as getting some specific information about how their students are achieving in various areas. That was about as fast as I could go. Are there any questions that the board had, more detail or anywhere they wanted me to go back and maybe explain further? No?
Thank you, Mr. Trout.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate your presentation. I would like to ask the Board of Education for a consent resolution. This is as amended for items 7.2A through 7.6M.
Can I get a motion?
Moved.
Thank you, Mrs. Johnson.
Second.
Thank you, Ms. Ford. Any questions? Mrs. Hendry?
I have a couple. On 7.4, D is in Disney. The meeting that was held, was anybody from the Board of Education, invited to that?
Law enforcement MOA, sorry.
No. That's a meeting between the Gloucester Township Police Department and the school administration. It's an annual requirement for the memorandum of understanding.
Understood. Just so I know my reasoning, so if nobody from the Board of Education was invited to the meeting, then why are we approving the meeting?
Because you have to approve it each year. It's the same form agreement that is standard throughout the state that they have to meet and sign, and then it goes to the board acknowledging that they met and that you're approving the signing of the agreement and authorizing your superintendent to sign said agreement.
But would you think it would be better to be notified that a meeting would take place, to allow the meeting to take place before approving that it happened after the fact?
It's a good point. I would say
I'm full of them.
Yeah. No, it's a fair point. I will say it happens annually. I want to say in October or November each year. But it's something.
I mean, it's just, granted, I'm only speaking for myself
Yeah.
and nobody on this board, but I wouldn't feel comfortable voting for something that said, okay, it happened like when it happened like in the past, like
Gotcha.
past.
So like a superintendent note saying I will be meeting with.
Yeah,
the
like
exec-"
just a heads up. I mean, that would be good, like, so that's the other thing. And the other thing that I had a question on, that was it.
Any
Well,
other
to-
questions?
To her point, if just say everyone voted no on that, what does that do, being as it was in the
It
past?
would be a liability nightmare for us. It would
Alright,
be used to, the Board of Education did not approve a standard meeting between the police department and your administration that must occur every year.
So then moving
And-
forward, it should be voted for something that happens in the future, not something that happened in the past.
Well, it's ratifying that it happens, but maybe I think your point is you wanted a heads up, maybe that we heard when it was occurring, just so you knew and could anticipate that kind of thing. Is that fair? Did I hear you right?
Sure.
Okay, I got your point.
Any other questions? Can I get a roll call, please?
Mrs. Fritz,
Yes.
Mrs. Galnick,
Yes.
Mr. Gibbons,
Yes.
Ms. Gore,
Yes.
Mrs. Henry,
I'm abstaining on 7.4D. Yes, on the balance.
noted. Mr. Hutchinson,
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson,
Yes.
Ms. O'Donnell.
Yes. Report of the business administrator?
Moving over to 8.0, asking
Mike, please, thank you.
Moving over to 8.0, asking for a consent agenda for 8.1 all the way through 8.7D.
As amended?
As amended for the bills list.
Thank you. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Second. Thank you, Ms. Gore on the motion. Ms. Johnson on the second. Do we have any questions? Ms. Hendry?
Hiya. 8.5, transportation, A through S is in Sam. Understanding that transportation is a necessity for children in our school to go to school. But we're approving contracts now in November when services started in September. Was the transportation committee or the president or vice president notified of these needs and expenses prior?
These are, every one of these transportation contracts, most of them, I looked at every one of them, are special needs students. So they have to begin school when school starts. But when the bids go out, by the time we get those contracts in from Canon Ed Services, it's usually like October, November. That's when you're getting them. So they're normally after the fact, just like tuition. Tuition's normally after the fact. The kid already started. You're just approving it after the fact. It's
Okay.
very common.
And that's everywhere.
Okay, so, but was the transportation committee notified of these things that, hey, like, we need to talk about this or anything like that?
No, this happens almost monthly. You'll usually have kids going in and out of schools. You're going to see this occurring monthly. So
Okay.
no, it's not communicated on a monthly basis.
Okay.
Any other questions? Can I get a roll call, please?
Mrs. Fritz,
Yes.
Mrs. Galnick,
Yes.
Mr. Gibbons,
And no on check 139431, 138393, yes on the balance.
noted. Ms. Gore,
Yes.
Mrs. Hendry,
I'm abstaining on 8.5A through S. I'm a no on check number 139431, 138393, yes on the balance.
noted. Mr. Hutchinson,
Yes.
Mrs. Johnson,
I am abstaining on check 139314 and 139437. Yes on the balance.
noted. Mrs. O'Donnell,
I am abstaining on check number 139441 and abstaining on 8.4A. Yes on the balance.
noted.
Any old business, Mr. Bilodeau?
Mrs. O'Donnell, on November 4th, the elections were held, and there were three seats on the Gloucester Township Board of Education. The results have proven that there will be three new board members. All three of the members-elect have been communicated with. They are doing certain processes right now, so they will be ready to be sworn in. The reorganization of the board has been scheduled for January 5th, 2026, 6 p.m. at the board office.
Thank you. Any new business?
I do. And a few weeks ago, there was a fire right in the backyard of here at Autumn Ridge, Building C. Unfortunately, it was so severe, someone did lose their life, but I would say that the school district, a lot of people really stepped up to support the apartment complex. That included certainly the members of the GTEA who were very generous with donations of new clothing and money. Certainly this building, C.W. Lewis, became a hub for just facilitating the resources that had to go to Autumn Ridge and just the greater Gloucester Township community. People were coming to this building, dropping off things, and we in turn would get them over to the leasing office. So that was kind of neat to see the humanity of what the district staff could do. Just wanted to bring that to the board's attention. I also wanted to let the Board of Education know, the members of the public, that Acme, which is really owned by Albertsons, continues to give the district thousands of dollars in donations, gift cards. In fact, Mr. Klein, I've asked Mr. Klein to facilitate some of the gift card distribution amongst our 11 buildings. And today came to my office, I gave them $2,500. Acme has pledged more money, and Mr. Klein will distribute that at or around the Christmas or the winter break to families in need.
Great, thank you. Any public comments on any items? Anything? Ms. DeLeo?
Dorothy Hope DeLeo, terminated employee of Gloucester Township Schools. Okay, I was terminated last November 6, 2024. I have yet to receive my pension, and I have yet to receive any benefits for life. I was terminated 5 months before I would have had my benefits for life. I had 37 years in with Gloucester Township Schools. 24 years and 7 months were contracted. How convenient that I was terminated 5 months before I would have had my benefits for life. I want to know, am I getting benefits? Am I going to get a pension? Fortunately for me, I have some money put aside that I've been paying bills for the last year. Am I going to get a pension? When I called Trenton, and before anyone picked up, it was 2 hours and 20 minutes. And I told her the circumstances and everything. You know what her response was? You're going to have to get another job. I said, I'm not getting another job. I put in 37 years with Gloucester Township Schools. Mr. Bilodeau, when am I getting a pension? Your name, you signed all the paperwork to terminate me.
Mrs. DeLeo? Mr. Bilodeau unfortunately cannot talk about any, even your employment, employee information at a public meeting.
What do you say?
Mrs.
I said the exact same thing as Mrs. O'Donnell.
And you did tell me at one meeting that it wasn't going to be discussed here.
And we've stuck to that.
We-
You can make your
absolutely.
comments. We do not discuss it on this side of the table.
I am a taxpayer, and I can rest assured I am paying so much more money than everyone in this room. I can rest assured, I'll bet money that I pay more tax money than anybody in this room. I deserve to have an answer to that. You terminated me for no reason.
As I stated, he cannot legally respond to you and answer your questions.
Mrs. O'Donnell,
it is an
I'm
employee
listening
matter.
to you.
I hear you. Do you have any new information for us? You have come month after month after month.
And I'm going to continue.
Okay, I get that, and you have every right
I'm a
to.
taxpayer, and I'm
You-
paying
you have every
I'm
right
paying
to.
more money than anybody in this room.
Do you have any new
You can look it up if you
information?
want.
Do you have any new information you'd like to share with us?
So I was called in for a meeting a week before school opened, and this is going back to August 2024. And you know, getting back to the reason why I have to come here month after month, you only give me 3 minutes. I mean, what am I down to now? 1 minute, 22 seconds? So I went to that meeting and I took my son, okay? My son was in the conference room down on a railroad. Mr. Bilodeau was standing at that end of the conference room, speaking to somebody, and I can rest assured it was Mercado on the other side of the door. And my son was already seated. And you came in, shut the door, and looked at my son and said, "You're going to have to leave." Okay? So right there, I said, I'm getting my ass ringed. Sure enough, my son went out there and sat in the waiting room, and you looked at me and said, you're not allowed in Union Valley. You're not allowed in the parking lot of Union Valley. And I said to you, am I allowed in the woods behind Union Valley because I own it? You didn't say anything, and your secretary, Lori Cavallero, put her pen down. And
Mrs.
the only
DeLeo,
other
your
person,
time, I wanted you to finish your thought. Your time is up. Let me see if anyone else has anything. And I will allow you to come back up with new stuff. Thank you. Does anyone else have anything? Agenda items only?
No, it's any of this setting.
Oh, anything. Sorry,
Yeah.
anything. Yes, please come up. We just need your name, where you're from. Thank you.
My name is Jamie Bellows. I am from Williamstown, New Jersey. I'm a teacher in Gloucester Township. I'm going to try to read so we can move some emotion out. This is my 23rd year in this district, but my roots go much deeper. I grew up here. I love this district. I care a lot about what happens to it. Unfortunately, this Friday will be my last day. It's very hard to leave because I am so vested in the children of Gloucester Township. My own kids came to Gloucester Township. We lived in Runnymede, and I said to my husband 20-something years ago, as soon as I got pregnant with my first baby, we're going back to GT. There was only one place. In fact, this board and several people sitting back here honored both my girls as star students, so it was kind of cool to see that. Leaving this district is so hard under the circumstances. I did ask for a private exit interview because this is totally uncomfortable for me. But I find myself in a position where I'm leaving. So some of the truths that need to be spoken or that should have been spoken maybe by employees but are afraid of consequences or things coming after weren't said. I find myself in a position, as many of my colleagues know, to advocate for myself. I am going, so it's not to stay, but I feel like there are some things that need to be said. I've worked in this district as a classroom teacher, which regular ed, special ed, and now I'm a reading interventionist. My accolades, and I have a hard time speaking, but I need to right now, include Teacher of the Year. I've gotten highly effective since that became a thing. Never had anything but glowing observations. You look in my file, it's a clean slate. I'm a daughter of a woman who is a teen mom of 3 kids. She went back to school to get her nursing degree. Later, as she raised her kids, went back to get her PhD to become the chief nursing officer at a local accredited college. So I learned early on, we better ourselves professionally for the people that we serve. I went back to get my LDTC certificate on a whim because I wanted to just, be ready for the next step, not anytime soon. I only planned on using that certificate in Gloucester Township, just like I only planned on retiring from here, hopefully in 10 years. Those plans didn't go as such. As a part of my coursework, too, just to follow this up, I interned this summer in Gloucester Township as an LDTC. I had a wonderful experience, and I knew this was a path that eventually I definitely, and LDTC is a part of special ed child study team, so it would have been a perfect next step for somebody that analyzes data, looks for deficits, plans and implements instruction for kids, for me to be the LDTC. I had a wonderful experience as my internship. If I need to stop, I'll come back.
I'd rather not interrupt you in the middle. If
Can
you're
I-
going to be done soon, I would
Well,
rather
I'll
do
try.
that.
I'll try to go.
Yeah, I'd
Okay.
rather do that.
There's a lot of parts to this, but I had a really good experience. I knew that this was what I wanted to do. I was shocked because these positions don't come up a lot. Oh, I did extend my internship too. I had enough hours the end of June. I went to the middle of August because I tested kids in June. I wanted to write the reports. I wanted to meet with the parents. I wanted the full experience. I got it, and I had glowing reviews. When I saw a job posted in this district, I thought, oh my gosh, maybe now's the time, because I know they don't come up a lot. Sent my best application forward with at least 3 administrators from this district writing, and I purposely didn't pick my current administrators. They were other ones that I've worked with. 3 glowing recommendations that really spoke to who I am and that I'm there for the children. Sent that over. I thought, okay, fingers crossed. Never heard anything. Maybe they got a better applicant. I saw a second posting, and I reached out to Mr. Mercado, and I respectfully said, am I allowed to ask why? If there's a second posting and nobody's applied, why? I didn't even get a phone call or an interview or anything. He said, you can. So I emailed, and I got back that I lacked experience. That was the last thing I expected to hear, because as far as I was concerned, experience was the one thing I had to stand on. I reached out to Mr. Bilodeau. We had a conversation. I thought it went really well. He said I'd be scratching my head too. And he did not promise me anything, but he was going to have a conversation with that supervisor to find out what happened, which I truly appreciated. Third posting came, and now it made sense. The third posting said a substitute LDTC. And that's what I want to speak about here. That seems to be a trend in our district, to leave positions with qualified candidates unfilled. That is very concerning to me because that is not best practice for our students. Our students deserve better than, and substitutes are wonderful. Like, I am so grateful for the ones in my building, but there's a reason that we went to college. There's a reason that we spend years in this field. There's a reason that we better ourselves as professionals. No substitute, even the best of the best, could do what I do. And I'm very grateful to Dr. Sanino for the additional training in the letters program. I learned a lot. And at that point, I was an 18-year veteran teacher. I don't want to substitute in my position, and that's what's happening now. Back to what I was saying. Sorry. This is why I didn't want to go off script.
Can we see if anyone else
Yeah,
has anything? Thank you. I appreciate you. Thank you. Does anyone else? Hi. Just your name, where you're from.
This is awkward.
Oh, well, you can hold it if you
Okay.
want. There you go.
Good evening. My name is Christy Shug. I live here in the district where I'm both an employee and parent to 3 young children. I am speaking here tonight about a transportation issue that directly affects the safety of my 2 children. Our home is 0.4 miles from the school, which places us slightly under the district's 0.5-mile transportation cutoff. Because of this, my children are designated as walkers and are not permitted to use the bus stop located at our trusted babysitter's home, even though it's within the same residential development. What's really frustrating is that students who already qualify for bus service are allowed to use a babysitter's address within the same development. Yet families like ours who live just inside the half-mile cutoff are denied that same option, even though it would not require any additional stops, routes, or costs to the district. My husband has already presented our case to the administration. While we understand the reasoning behind the current policy, the denial of our request has been deeply frustrating. Each response we've received from the Supervisor of Transportation, Mr. McCauley, and Mr. Bilodeau has been identical. You live 0.4 miles from the school, you are a walker, this is our policy. With all due respect, I believe our children deserve to be seen as more than a calculated distance on a map. A 0.4-mile walk is not automatically safe just because a policy declares it so. So tonight, I'm asking the board to consider a common sense, budget-neutral solution, a space available courtesy ride policy for students designated as walkers who use childcare within their home development. Under this policy, if a walker uses an alternate address for childcare within the school's attendance zone, they may be granted bus transportation to that stop. Only if the bus serving that stop has available space. For example, the board, you can decide if it's 70 or 80% capacity, whatever number you come up with. And only if it requires no new routes, stops, or additional costs to the district. This proposal doesn't overturn the half-mile rule. It simply introduces flexibility and fairness for working families. It allows children like mine to travel safely to and from school without burdening the district. I'm coming to you tonight because Mr. McCauley has stated there is no flexibility within the current policy. That is exactly why I'm asking that this exception be written into district policy so that future decisions can reflect common sense and compassion, not just a rigid rule. I hope you agree that a policy should never prevent a safe and reasonable solution just because it wasn't written down before. I'm asking the board to reconsider this decision and to review the policy itself. Can we work together to put a policy in place that protects children and supports working families without increasing costs to the district? Be willing to do that? Look at it, at least?
Thank you.
Thank you.
We will take it under advisement. Right now, we're in a really strange situation being a board. We're in the lame duck. And so you're talking about policy with a new board coming in January. There will be committees made that will deal with policy and other things. So as I can't promise you anything,
Well, you're not gonna be here.
I will not be here.
So I have a question too, then my preschool, if she gets in, what, is she a walker too, even though she's 4? Or is she gonna be allowed to use the babysitter because it was allowed in the past, but now you're being strict, so,
I think that's something we're gonna have to discuss with you offline rather than here. But
Okay.
you know, to her point though, once the new board's seated, I think that's policy proposal that you're taking. Once the committees are set and everything like that, we were having 3 new members, as Mr. Bilodeau said.
okay,
They can take a look at that. But your comments are well taken,
all
and
right,
well noted.
thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know how to,
That's all right.
Does it slide
does it
in?
slide in? Like that?
Or you can put it on the chair.
No chair.
I think my husband's coming up next then.
Okay,
Thank you.
yep.
TJ Shug from Summerdale. I spoke in September. My wife just addressed that as well. Our concern about our child safety, right? So again, father, taxpayer. I'm regarding the district's inconsistent and unsafe application of the transportation policy. So for 2 years, our family received this courtesy busing from our babysitters in our own development, and it was simply a measure that worked for everybody. Recently, this transportation was revoked 7 days before school started, with latchkey also full. We had no choice. We've been struggling since day one to find someone to get our kids to school, get them from school. And a funny story here, last month, GT Police visited my children's classroom, my first graders, and they taught the students that young children must not be left at home alone, which everybody in this room should agree, right? So my 6-year-old told the officer in front of her class that she had been left at home alone that morning. And her words, my mom and dad had work and we aren't allowed to ride the bus. That's what she told the police officer. All right, so now we have a district teaching one safety message while enforcing a policy that creates the exact opposite outcome. Why are we doing this to my 6-year-old daughter, right? So policy 8600 is clear, right? Providing transportation for walkers does have a gray area. It's not that it cannot be changed, and it's strictly what it is. It is a local discretionary choice. It is not mandated by the state and is not restricted by any budget constraints. So as of right now, the discretion that's being applied inconsistently and unfairly, here are my facts. A walker in my development was granted busing this year before school started on the same non-hazardous route my children previously used for bus 85. That student does not qualify under hazardous routes or special law, which is what I was told is part of that policy. Students who already receive transportation are permitted to use babysitters from other addresses, inside our development or outside. I have 2 friends who drop their kids off at their grandparents, blocks away, developments away, and they have busing. So is this discrimination because I'm 0.4, not 0.5 miles? One more block and my kids will be able to take a bus from anywhere they want? That's how this seems. Yet my children, as walkers, were denied busing to a babysitter in the very same development. And last July, 2024, the school actually requested confirmation that our children would continue to use this babysitter stop, which means the arrangement that was not considered an error, despite repeated claims from Mr. Bilodeau, Mr. McCauley, and Mrs. Kion. I was told that we were informed verbally that it would be our last year receiving this transportation. That is not true. That is not true. I don't know where we made that up. That is not true. I have an email claiming, again, reach out to us. Are you want to do this again? We need 5 days in a row from a permanent address. We had all that. So taken together, these facts show discretionary decisions being applied inconsistently, and I'm told not the truth. All right. I'll be back up.
I'd rather get someone new first. We have a new speaker. Yeah, thank you.
Hi, my name is Charlie Baum. I live in Diana Drive in Sicklerville. I just had a question regarding their thing. If you're a walker and you go to like an after-school program, like a daycare for daycares that are, go up to, whether it's COA that goes up to age 12, or if it's Goddard that goes up to age, I think 8 or 9, how would that work for them? Like if they did have a daycare, if they're in the walking zone, technically that's like a babysitter. And I know for a fact at least Goddard has busing that uses the school's buses to get children to and from at least Union Valley, because that was one thing I asked about when choosing my daycare. I just was curious, like I know it doesn't affect me, but it would affect them. So I was just kind of curious how that works out.
That's something you can explain, Mr. Bilodeau?
Like just because it's like a paid daycare like Goddard versus their neighbor
Look at the
a
individual.
couple blocks away from them. I was just kind of curious, you know, they're similar situations. It was just a curiosity thing.
Situations. Have you name a member. and-
Yeah, yeah, if it's regarding students, we can't really talk about it.
Well, no,
No,
it was just,
No, what I'm talking about is like, those are really different situations. So what we can
how,
do is.
how is it different just
I
because
almost-
it's paid?
No case sensitive. So what I'm saying is there are certain situations that they could talk about. My point is get the contact information and he needs to look into that as.
Yeah,
Well, again, it doesn't affect me. It's just more so if I lived within 0.5 miles of the school, and if I worked and right now I pay over $700 a week in daycare costs. And if my child would then not be allowed to use the school's bus to get to daycare because I live within a half mile, I was just kind of curious why that's allowed, but they're not allowed to use their neighbor just because they're not paid. That's just how I kind of see it.
question. And yeah, you said you don't want to know for you, but if you want an answer to that question, then I would have you leave your name and number
Okay.
and he could get you. a
Okay, it was just
response. Yeah.
like, you know,
No, I
when
hear
you talk to them and, you know, that is something like a detail to kind of keep in mind that is something that you do already allow to students already, that if they go, because Goddard told me that they have busing, you just have to tell the school that your child goes to Goddard and then they get onto the Goddard school bus. Okay. He said that he would look into it for me.
But for the recording.
Oh, yeah, no, that's why I said it for
Something
you.
else to look
Yeah.
at.
I know what you're talking about. I will look into that for you.
Okay, yeah, that, it was just a question. Do you like the
Does
mic?
any other new person wanna? Hey.
Hello, Chip Pilders. I got beeped already.
Wow. Wow. You might want to remember that in January. I'm just saying.
Exactly. Chip Pilders, I'm board member elect. I will be the one coming in January. So I'm hearing this. I'm glad I came tonight. I personally want to thank Keith, Nancy, Jen for their dedicated years of service on the board. It's a thankless job. I kind of know it. I kind of know what I'm getting into. But you have many years of service and I see it on your faces. Some are happy, can't wait to go. So like it's a mixed emotion. And I'd like to personally thank you for your dedication and service. So thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have a bus driver shortage still, or is it done?
Always, yeah.
Always.
Always.
Always. Yeah. So,
No, I don't want to drive a school bus.
if there's no one new that would like to speak, Mrs. DeLeo was first, so I'd rather her, if you're ready.
You ready to come back? But thanks again, guys. You did a great job.
Thank you.
We'll see you.
Let's give them a round of applause. They're working for no money. There you go.
I know.
Dorothy
Mrs.
Hope
DeLeo, I'm just
DeLeo.
gonna ask for, if you have new information to share, then I would much rather you just share all the new
Okay,
information.
would
you
you
have.
rather me just put the mic down?
No,
It's up to you.
no, I would much rather,
Barry, you and I have known each other for better than 20.
you don't have the microphone, the recording can't hear you.
All right, good enough. Okay, that's enough. That's up. Mrs. Bellows, would you like to come back up?
What?
Mrs. Bellows, would you like to come back up?
I was told.
Okay, if you're not going to use the microphone, you can't speak without the microphone. My apologies, but it's for the recording. Okay, great. Thank you.
I was handed the microphone. All
I
right,
understand
so-
that.
What's
If
that?
you have new information, we would love to hear it.
Well, thank you. You're taking part of my 3 minutes. So one of the letters I was sent by Mr. Bilodeau was examination for cause.
You've read this letter not less than 5 different times at these meetings, Mrs. DeLay.
What's that?
You've read that letter on your.
No, I did
examination
not.
cause multiple times if you go back and look. This is not.
Ms. Fellows. Thank you.
So I was not given the chance to interview. I was disappointed. Somebody sent me one link to a district that was hiring. I didn't go searching. I thought, let me apply because they've already told me I have no experience as an LDTC and I'm not going to get that anywhere in Gloucester Township. The writing was on the wall. Didn't really ever even think I'd leave at that point. I did the interview, like I said earlier, in my car between going from Key Largo onto a cruise. And I got off and I told my family who I kicked out to Dunkin' Donuts to come back in the car. And I said, I got the job. I know it. It went so well. It was natural. It was obvious that I could do this job. And I was like ecstatic because I knew the offer was coming. But I just figured I'm at the top of the pay scale. It's a long shot. When she called me a few days later after my vacation, she said, I went to bat for you. I'm offering you this position at the top of the pay scale with your master's plus 30. We don't see LDTC applicants like you. You're a unicorn. Those were her exact words to me. Now, this is a woman I only interviewed virtually with. You're a unicorn. My own district I've been with over 22 years. I didn't even get a phone call to tell I wasn't getting an interview. Again, moving forward, this is where my concern lies. We are not hiring the applicants that are there, that are qualified, that could do our kids and our students the service that they deserve. We don't treat our veteran teachers with the value that they need to be shown. We don't show them the appreciation that they deserve. And in a field where right now there's a teacher shortage coming, and we're starting to see that, and we're starting to see other districts pay for experience, I'm worried for Gloucester Township. I'm not here as a disgruntled employee leaving. I'm here because I'm worried. I'm so glad the 3 new members are here because you all have done an excellent job, but also I want them to know moving forward, we gotta do better. We gotta do better for our staff, but most importantly, when we do better for our staff, our students, you wanna see those scores go up? It starts with the morale. When people are happy, they work harder and you see the achievement. Thank you. Take care. And I will just say, and I remember this, Mr. Bilodeau, and one of the reasons that I have so much respect for you. My son was in CHOP at 2 months old. He was very sick. He came home after a month of being there on a feeding tube, and my 2 older daughters went to Loring Fleming. George, I forget his last name, the bus guy told us, your daughters are going to have to get picked up by a van. I said, these 2 girls, their lives have just been turned upside down. They're not going in a van. They need to go on their regular bus. It drives by my house. Why can't it stop in front of our house? I called you. I was shaking like I am now as an employee, scared, but speaking up for my family. And your response to me is that bus is going to stop in front of your house because you're part of the GT family. And that's the GT we need to get back to. This has been, and I'll wrap it up real fast. I want to give you a few examples for me. Now, many people, knowing that I'm leaving, colleagues across the district, because I've been in several schools, have reached out to me to share stories of their own. Some I already knew, some I learned about ways that they were made to feel less than. We are just a body. That's how it's starting to feel. That's a comment that you hear quite often. I will only speak to things that have happened to me to show that there's a disconnect somewhere. This has been a really hard year for my family. On December 9th, my mom was killed in a car accident. I found out when I was in school. Luckily, there were no students in my room. Although I remember getting the phone call, I don't remember anything else in that moment. But later, when I returned to school out of the mouths of babes, one of my students told me that she thought I was having a baby. I screamed so loud. The night that my mom died, I waited with Mr. Ferguson, and they had called some of my closest colleagues to wait for my husband to come pick me up. I went to my dad's. There was my brother and my sisters, and we stayed there for the night, till late in the night. At about 7, 8 o'clock, I started to panic. How do I call out tomorrow? How do I do this without getting in trouble? Because I don't want to get docked, and I know that's happened to my colleagues. So here I am texting my senior building rep. What do I do? Do I call out with bereavement? My mom's body hasn't been released. There's going to be an investigation. We don't know when the funeral is. Or do I just call out sick and risk them asking for a note because they know I'm not sick? I don't know what to do. In the contrast, my aunt, my mom's sister, who was only supposed to get 3 days, Her district called her. She's a teacher. She's been teaching half the time that I've been teaching. Her district called her and said, Melissa, you do what you got to do. You take the time. On her 4th day, she called to tell them, I'm not making it in. They said the same thing. We told you not to call. Like, we've got you. You take care of yourself right now. Me? And I spoke to Mr. Bilodeau previously about this because I'm hoping there's a change somewhere to be had. Me, I was standing next to my mom's casket while my watch went off. And yes, I do have my work email tied to my watch. I'm like, HR, like, okay, that's weird. They wanted proof where I was. Several administrators had come to my mom's funeral. They heard me the day that it happened. They were there when I got the phone call. My mom's, because of her role as the chief nursing officer, it was all in the papers. There was no reason to ask me for proof. It's humiliating. It's heartbreaking when you get those kinds of emails. A similar situation happened to my daughter when she was a senior in high school. She's now about to be 21. She has a history of kidney stones, which I've never had one, but from watching her, I know they're quite painful. She woke up one morning, her senior year, and said, Mom, my back. I said, all right, lay down, put a heating pad on. Let's cross our fingers. I'm going to work because that's what we do as teachers, right? So I went to work. She called me a little while later. She said, Mom, you got to come home. I went home. She was right. She was getting sick. The pain was so bad. I said, let's go. We're going to CHOP. They admitted her. They were waiting 2 days for it to pass. I'm calling out sick because I'm staying with my daughter now. 2 days for it to pass. It didn't pass. On the 3rd day, they said, we've got to do surgery. While she's back in surgery, I need a doctor's note for myself. I'm out of family sick days because my son had the flu that year. I need a doctor's note for myself. So I'm in panic mode because I know I have this child, and even though she was a senior in high school, she's still my baby. If you have kids, they never stop being your baby. I had to leave. Once she came out of surgery, my husband stayed with her. I had to leave and go get a virtual appointment. And I was honest. I said, I am having meltdown. I'm having anxiety. I cannot take care of my child. And I have all these sick days, but I can't use them. And they gave me the sick note I needed, but why do I have to? I am not somebody that abuses the system. Teachers need to be treated better. I now have been asked to have tuition reimbursement, meanwhile being told that I may or may not have medical waiver paid, my medical benefits that I paid, they may be prorated. I don't know. I plan to leave gracefully from this district. My original email to our resignation letter said I wanted to help the the staff member transition to my position. I just want to do what's best for the kids. I heard a rumor that a sub was going into my position and not a certified staff member. 5 applicants from within my own building had applied for my job, and I know each and every one of them would do an amazing job. They weren't even given an interview. When I heard it was a sub, I did ask Mr. Ferguson, why? My job is so specialized. When we go out and we are sick, we put our kids on, it's called Lexia, which is a great program, but it's not a teacher, because a sub could never do what I know how to do. They can't look at a child through the lens that I can look at as a reading interventionist and give them the needs they need to meet the deficits. So the 30 kids on my roster, when I leave in a week, will have a sub, and that is tearing me up. Even though it was September 28th, I believe, that I put my resignation letter in. They did post for my job. October 17th it closed, and nothing's happened since then. I'm hoping that this board or the new board can get somebody in there with a certification, with a background in reading, because the 30 kids on my roster that qualified for intervention, they deserve better. The staff members, my other reading interventionist team, that are going to have to pick up the pieces and help a substitute to even begin to know what to do, they deserve better. When people are happy, they perform better, just human nature. And I'll stop talking, but please, I hope that there's some consideration, because we have really great Gloucester Township staff with a lot of experience and a lot of people that right now are talking about leaving. That scares me. That scares me a lot.
Thank you.
Congratulations and good luck, Ms. Bellows. So yesterday morning, I sent an email to Mr. Bilodeau, Mrs. O'Donnell, Mr. McCauley, and Mrs. Kyone. Just asking some questions, so I just want to share those questions with you now. Hopefully they share that email with the board. I tried to email everybody, but a lot of them got kicked back, so I don't know if you've received the email or not. My questions were, what specific criteria are being used to decide which walkers are granted discretionary busing? What criteria govern approval of babysitter addresses for families who rely on them daily? Why was courtesy busing approved for one family in my development while being denied on the same route to my children? How is the district ensuring policy 8600 is applied fairly with no disparities among students who live in the same community? And my last question was, how does the board justify removing a safety measure that was already functioning, especially when the bus route still operates at zero additional cost or time? They were my questions I shared with them. Hopefully they share that email with you. Again, I just want to restate, we never received a phone call or an email stating that last year was our final year of busing. Again, the district reached out to us confirming that we were looking to do that again the following year. Mr. McCauley emailed that he personally corrected the error found of my children being approved to ride the bus, but did not correct the same supposed error for the other student riding bus 85 who does not meet the half-mile contingency. So I just want to make clear, everyone watching YouTube, with this policy 8600, the question is not whether you're able to help my children for the board, it's whether you want to help my children. You have it in the policy where you can, right? So if we deny it again, it's not that you don't want to, or not that you can't, it's that you don't want to. So just asking you that way. You were elected to serve the families of this community, right? In September, when I raised the issue, nothing was done. Tonight you have another chance, a chance to use your authority for good. So I'm asking you plainly, will you hold the door open for my children, or are you going to slam it in their faces? I genuinely believe that you will do the right thing, and I really guess we'll see, and I hope so. But a general question with 50 seconds left is, I don't really know what changed to have my daughters kicked off the bus. Like, is it just a policy? What actually changed where they had to be removed from that courtesy busing? I was told that someone employed in the transportation office is no one there, is not there anymore. That doesn't affect my children getting a bus from the babysitter's house. So I just didn't know, because again, I feel like this is arbitrary and capricious. I don't know what actually changed besides being told you can't now. We were walkers 2-3 years ago, and now we are in the same exact position, and we're being told that it's not possible. But now more things are coming to light. I appreciate your comment earlier. Again, talking to people in the community who are outraged and want to come here and support us. I don't want to embarrass Gloucester Township Schools. My wife works at Gloucester Township Schools. I work in the community as well. We don't want that. We need to solve this issue. This is getting ridiculous. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.
Any other comments? I'll take that.
Okay.
I'm just going to turn it off. Up there you go. Yep. Mrs. DeLeo, I have been very respectful of you. Okay, we're going to move on then. We're going to move on then. I'm trying to help you and you're making it really difficult. Okay, but I'm speaking now and you're not allowing me to finish. I have been very respectful to you for months of you coming here. I always want to hear what you have to say and what the public has to say. Okay, that's the end of public comments. Mrs. DeLeo, that's the end of public comments. Do we have board member comments? Any board member comments?
Yeah, I have some board member comments. First of all, I'd like to ask for a special meeting of the policy committee to review the transportation policy. I also wanted to congratulate all the students, all the STAR students that were here, and wish everybody a very happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Mrs. Fritz?
I just wanted to say, on Thursday, November 13th, I had the privilege of attending Challenge Day at Ann Mullen Middle School. The program is designed to build empathy, strengthen connections, and to promote a culture of kindness and respect while helping students feel seen, supported, and valued. I wanted to say thank you to Principal Rose Bounds and her staff for allowing me the opportunity to participate in the day-long program. And I was never so impressed and encouraged by a program that was designed to help our students deal with the emotional and social impacts that they deal with every day. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Gibbons?
Yeah, I have a lot of thoughts from everything tonight, and they kind of all play into each other here. The transportation committee or the policy committee request is we'll definitely look into this for sure, because the board's role is to set policy, and then there are people who have to execute based off of what that policy is. So you asked the question of what changed. I don't know what changed. I'm just saying that it could be just someone else read that policy and acted in their role to enforce something. You're 100% right. I believe, we should have, it's my opinion, that we should have compassion and stuff like that written into a policy such as that. There are outliers, and there's reasons that policies are put into place, because we do have to stop some people who abuse certain things or other. We can sit here and talk about that forever, but I do believe that should be looked at. Part of Ms. O'Donnell had mentioned earlier, we are in a lame duck session right now. So last month we had to cancel our meeting, and as the chair of the policy committee, I wanted to bring up, I believe it's 7510 was the policy that was asked by the public to look at. We didn't want to, or I didn't want to bring that up and let a new board. There's going to be an election. There's going to be definitely 2 new people who are not running again for this. So kind of didn't want to put it out there. Just let the new board react to that policy, because it's going to be their policy. There have been complaints from the public saying that was done during a lame duck session the last time it was enacted. So we definitely can look into this, and part of being on the policy committee for a few years now, I feel like bringing in transportation, whoever it is that's looking at these things, of making these calls, need to be brought in, and some of that work can be done. I know, but it won't be completely wasted, if we go do some of that, because we will have, Mr. Bilodeau will be involved with that, with those meetings. So the research, or I guess you could say that we do, can be, extended forward into that. Yeah, that's I guess, a sum of that. There was a mention of morale. And there, what's that old saying where it's, the beatings will continue until morale improves. And I feel like I hear that a lot, and it's sad. But that's all I have. Thanks for coming out. Happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mrs. Johnson.
Yeah, I'd like to congratulate our new board members. I'd like to congratulate our new board members. We'll miss Nancy. We'll miss Jan and Keith, but we'll keep on going. And I just want to wish everybody a wonderful Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Mrs. Hendry?
I had 4 things. And through public comments, it's added. So let me get through the generic things before I get through what's affecting me. Being part of the board, I had the honor and privilege to attend my first Board of Education conference. And it was definitely eye-opening. It kind of ties into, you're one person out of 9, right? And so collectively, we are one voice. Just because we are one voice doesn't mean that the voice behind this microphone may or may not agree with that voice. So with that being said, but I learned a lot, and I am grateful for the opportunity of going. I also learned that Miss Johnson is a good time out of this conference, and I am probably a lot older than she is outside of this boardroom. My thoughts are with the families. The 41 apartments were gone with the Autumn Ridge fire. In the line of work that I do, it's absolutely devastating to see and to know that few of our students were affected has some light to that dark moment. I want to congratulate the new board members. It is really kind of cool to have another 2 parents who have children currently in our district. Hopefully you are not a gooey marshmallow like I am, because I get in my feels. Also, it's really cool to have a retired school teacher from this district to have that perspective, which leads me to my next. When I sat there, I've always asked, we should have a temperature check, get a survey of the teachers, to see, because it's important. They're responsible for teaching the youth and our future, right? And if they're not happy, how are our children happy? And it's truly important. So hopefully with coming to school board meetings, and we can encourage to come all the time, not just when you have something bad to say, that you come regularly and keep us accountable and keep us on our toes, because you're right. You entrusted us to make decisions, and you to call us out when you don't feel happy about it. So I thank you. Keep coming. And lastly, happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Pildes, for your kind comments. I appreciate that.
I also have a few things. Mr. Bilodeau, if you could extend the gratitude to the Gloucester Township community that helped with the Autumn Ridge fire on behalf of the board, I would appreciate that. I did read some things online where people were collecting things, and so we all appreciate that they stepped up and helped. Mrs. Bellows, I want to thank you for your service to Gloucester Township Public Schools. I also want to thank you for sharing your experiences with us and your comments with us. We talk a lot about exit interviews, and people are afraid to do exit interviews, and we don't really get a lot of feedback on people leaving, and you were very brave, and I appreciate that, and I just wanted to acknowledge you for that. I do want to congratulate our star students. How stinking cute were they? Planting milkweed. After the meeting, I know Mrs. Johnson and Mr. Gibbons, because they're special, saw the new science rooms. But there, any other board members that want to take a quick hike after the meeting and go see the science rooms? Is Mr. Tro still here? Hi. I know. Thank you. He's going to take, I know, I'm going to hurry. I also want to congratulate our newly elected board members. And so having all 3 of you in the room tonight is extremely special. That doesn't happen all the time. Something else that doesn't happen all the time is 1/3 of the board getting turned over. And so that could be, that's 33% of us and a huge voice. What I realized being the board president this year is how hard it is for new members to kind of step in and get a feel. So just so everyone knows, I instituted a crash board member course for these guys, and hopefully I am on my way out the door, and I sure hope that the sitting board and the board moving forward will continue that practice and kind of bring the new people in, have a meeting, and kind of give them the ropes and show them the agenda and how things work. And I look forward to working with you guys on that. since I won't work with you in January. And Thanksgiving, happy Thanksgiving to everyone, safe holidays. And with that, can I get a motion to adjourn? Thank
Second.
you. All in favor? Have a great night.